What is up today, my guys and gals? We're going to do a quick little guide on our perks today. I'm going to talk about a few things that I think a lot of newer players may not understand about perks. Hang around till the end because I've got a few tips and tricks on the best practices for taking your perks throughout your run to get the best impact out of them. As you take perks throughout the game, it is going to increase the number of waves between each perk. You really won't notice this, especially when you start using your labs to reduce the perk waves or take the perk wave reduction perk, because those numbers are just going to get screwed. But just so you know, it does increase if you notice your waves are looking a little wonky. It starts at wave 200. After you take 20 perks, it's going to increase to 250, 30 perks, 300, 40 perks. It's going to increase to 350 waves between each perk. And those numbers do adjust based on what your lab perk wave reduction is at and if you have taken the wave reduction perks. So just so you know that. Very helpful. So starting off, I want to talk about some stuff in the labs for your perks that I think a lot of newer players definitely need to know. If you already know this, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. Our first one is just unlocking the perks. To get that, you need to complete tier 2 at least up to wave 150. Then you'll be able to also reduce your number of waves required before you get your next perk. And then you'll also be able to research your waves required, which I've only gone to level 17 on that. A lot of players recommend not really bothering with going too far because of a perk we'll talk about in a few minutes. But it can be beneficial if you have the extra slot to reduce that a little bit, especially at first. It can help you a lot. Next, we've got our auto pick perks. So this will just let you automatically pick perks. In general, it starts off with just whatever perk is at the top. That's the perk that auto perk is going to automatically pick. That can help you, it can hurt you, depends on how you're doing your runs. If you're just taking everything, it could be okay. Auto perk you unlock at tier 4 wave 50. So keep that in mind if you want to make use of that. It can hurt you because it can grab stuff you don't want. Then we've got our standard perks bonus. And that comes unlocked when you unlock your perks. That just makes your regular perks better. Perfect example of your standard perks bonus is your perk wave requirement reduction perk. Starts at minus 20%. And then when you max out your standard perks bonus, that's going to give you up to 25% perk taken. You can take that particular one up to 3 times. Okay, you also have your perk option quantity. I believe that comes unlocked when you unlock your perks, and that just increases the amount of perks that you can select from at one time. So you start off with 2. Once you max this out, you can select from 4 perks. Simple as that. And then first perk choice is amazing. That lets you set what will be, or one perk that will be in your perks window the first time you get it for every run. Very, very beneficial. And I'll tell you what you want to put for that later. In almost every case, not every case, there are some situations. And then we've got our perk bands. I've got mine up to level 4 already. And that one you unlock at wave 40 of tier 5. So keep that in mind if you want to be able to ban certain perks. And literally all that does is you can select perks before you run your run that will not show up in your perks pool. You can ban up to 8 perks if you level that up completely. It does take a long time. It's not super expensive, but it does take a while. Okay, then we have our improved trade-off perks. So your trade-off perks are your purple perks that do something beneficial and do something that can hurt you. You unlock those at tier 2 wave 400, and that one is very beneficial. The standard perks bonus and the improved trade-off perks bonus, you definitely want to max those out. Those will help your runs tremendously. The trade-off perks, as you level that up, it increases the beneficial part of the perk, but does not increase the part of the perk that hurts you. So keep that in mind as well. And then your auto perk ranking tells you how many perks you can set in your auto perk once you get into that. And I'll show you that a little bit later. Okay, so here are the available perks, and a lot of them do exactly like they say, but I do want to preface this. The math gets screwy. The additive perks makes some sense. Some of the multiplicative ones, the math is a little screwy. Don't worry about it. If you want to figure it out, there's a formula for calculating those. All of the additive perks add the way you think they would. For example, your defense percent perk, I'm just going to get plus 5% every time. And keep in mind, I do have my perks bonuses all maxed out, so yours will be different than mine unless you take the time to max those labs out. A lot of these are exactly the way you would expect them to be. They do just what they say they're going to do. And most of your blue perks you can take 5 times. A few of them are less. I'll let you know which ones those are. First, we've got our max health increase. That does exactly what it says it's going to do. It increases your max health. Same with damage. It's going to increase the amount of damage you do. Always good to have more damage. Always good to have more health, unless you're playing glass cannon. But if you're not playing glass cannon, max health is good. Health regen. Again, very beneficial. It's going to increase your amount of health regen as you go throughout your run. Very beneficial, not so much at the very beginning in the early stages, but once you get further into the game, you're doing more hybrid or hoarding strategies or Devo strategies, health regen is king. More so than max health in times. Coin bonus. Super great for farming. Does not matter at all if you're running a milestone run, but for farming, you want to take all of these. Bounce shot, you know, it increases it 2 per. This one you can only take 3 times for a max of +6. I don't think it really has a massive impact in your run because you're still going off of a % chance for each one. You bounce once, then you got the same % chance to bounce a second time. You got the same % chance to bounce a third time. So your actual % chance of getting that final bounce shot, the odds are not in your favor that you're going to get it. So that one's kind of a throwaway. It doesn't really help you that much. Interest. You know, interest is one of the most useless things in the game. You're not getting a lot out of it. So I consider that a throwaway perk. Interest stinks. There's just not enough of it. You don't get enough. You can almost completely ignore that and just take it if you don't want something to hurt you. Landmine damage. This does increase the amount of damage your landmines do, which at max is over 20 times increase. So that's a huge bump up in your landmine damage. If you're using landmines for damage, it's worth it. It's good to take. Extra orbs, exactly as it says, it's going to give you another orb. If you're running a full-on, just do everything as fast as you can and let it go, or a free-up strategy, or a blender strategy, or an orb devo, this is amazing. It's going to give you that extra orb. Orbs destroy more enemies. Very good. You can take that one twice, so you can get 2 extra orbs. And free upgrade chance. If you're not running a devo strategy, this perk is good. It's very good. It's going to give you a lot more free up percentage and can help you quite a good bit. Defense %, flat increase on your defense. This one is super handy. Just a small caveat with defense %, there is a dead cap on that. You cannot go above 98% on your defense %. Between your base defense %, your substat on your armor module, and the perk and the lab. You can't go above 98%, so you do want to just keep in mind, if you want to maximize that, you do want to get your % lab up to level 23, and that will let you hit that cap as long as you have an ancestral defense % perk with a +8%. If you don't have that, or if you have a mythic one, you're going to need to put more levels in that, but long term, just stop at level 23. That'll get you the most out of it. Perk wave requirement. Hands down, best perk in the game. You just can't beat it. You can take this one 3 times at max level, and taking all 3, that gives you a 75% reduction in your perk wave requirement, which compounds on the lab for that. Unlock a random ultimate weapon. This perk can be really good depending on where you are in the game. Obviously, if you have all 8 ultimate weapons, this perk is just going to get completely removed from the pool. Very helpful for later in the game. If you don't have all 8, it's going to give you a random ultimate weapon that you don't already have unlocked. And the odds of getting a particular ultimate weapon are dependent on how many you have. If you have none, you have a 1 in 8 chance of getting any ultimate weapon. If you have all of them but 1, you're going to get that 1 every time. And you can only take 1 of those. Just 1 per run. That's it. Increased max game speed is awesome. You definitely want to take that one. Very good. It's never going to hurt you. Except for maybe in a milestone run, because there is a bug with the attack speed at this time in the game in late July of 2025. I'm hoping they're going to fix that sometime soon, but you do actually have to reduce your game speed at some point to take advantage of it. If you're an early game player, does not apply to you at all. Late game players, you know what I'm talking about. And you can only take this perk 1 time. Cash bonus is actually pretty good depending on what level you're at. Personally, I take cash bonus pretty early just to help me max out my enemy level skip labs sooner. But if I don't get them early on, then it really doesn't make that big of a difference in the long term. But it can help initially if you're trying to get those, specifically your enemy level skips, because those get really expensive. And Defense Absolute, if you're doing a Devo strategy or turtle build and you are relying on that Defense Absolute, check out some guides on devoing if you want to know a little bit more information about using Absolute Defense in those situations. It can be beneficial. You can take it 5 times, so it's a pretty decent bump up in your Defense Absolute. Once you get past a certain tier, it's not, Defense Absolute just does not do enough to be worth it at all. So keep that in mind. That can be a throwaway perk. Okay, and then we've got our green perks here. All of these you can take 1 time. There's 1 for each ultimate weapon, and they all do pretty much exactly what they say. Also, a quick note on these green ultimate weapon perks. These are only going to show up if you have that weapon unlocked. If you don't have the weapon unlocked, you're not going to get the perk. It can be from your unlock a random ultimate weapon. If you unlock one, its perk can show up in your pool. If you don't have the weapon unlocked, the perk won't be there. 4 more smart missiles, you get 4 more smart missiles. Swamp radius times 1.5, you get 50% more radius on your swamp. This can hurt you. If your swamp is too big, you get a 25% slow on anything in your swamp. And if you have swamp stun turned on, if you're farming, that could hurt you. So take that one as you will, experiment with it. You may or may not like taking that perk. +1 wave on Death Wave. This gives you an extra effect wave on your Death Wave beyond what you have. If you have 4 effect waves, this is going to give you 5. Exactly as it sounds. Very good for farming if you've maxed the lab for the coin bonus on your Death Wave. So very, very good. Very good. Extra set of inner landmines. This one is a little bit different. Instead of adding more landmines to your inner circle, it's going to add another circle of landmines outside of that. And if you've got landmines and you have a stun on them, that's very handy. Gives you an extra stun on bosses, especially in milestone runs. That is awesome. For a farming run, if you're doing a Devo hoarding strategy, you know, honestly, it's not going to really affect you one way or the other until the very end of the run. And if you're doing that kind of strategy anyways, you're working on EHP, you're not really worried about killing bosses. So truthfully, that one's really only really good when you're doing a milestone run or if you're playing Glass Cannon. For EHP, it's not really going to help you a whole lot. It's just not. Golden Tower bonus. Very good. It's going to give you a 50% increase on your Golden Tower multiplier. So that's awesome. That's going to increase your amount of coins, and it's going to increase your amount of cash. So earlier you can get that, the better. Chain lightning damage. Doubles the amount of chain lightning damage you're doing. If you're doing Glass Cannon, or if you are doing an EHP and later on using Chain Lightning to help kill stuff, that's going to help. But bear in mind, you're doubling your damage. Chain Lightning goes really far out. If you're farming, that very well could reduce your coin income, so keep that in mind. If you're doing a milestone run, don't hesitate to take it. It's amazing. Chrono Field duration +5 seconds. This is a good one if you are earlier in the game or if you're right on the edge of being able to have 100% uptime on your Chrono Field. That extra 5 seconds could be all you need. Or if you're not using GComp, could be very good. Black hole duration. Awesome perk. I don't think there's a negative to this perk at all. And you can get to 100% uptime without using GComp using this perk, but you do have to put a substantial investment into your cooldown and your uptime for your black hole, but it maxes out at 38 seconds. With a +12 seconds, that gives you 50 seconds up, 50 seconds cooldown, 100% uptime on your black hole. So very good. And then finally, for the green perks, your spotlight damage bonus. A 50% increase in the damage to something in your spotlight is huge. If you only have 1 spotlight, it's not going to really affect you that much. If you have 2 or more and a good coverage on it, that's going to be huge, especially once you start using your lab for your spotlight coin bonus. That's going to increase the number of enemies that are dying in your spotlight and hopefully decrease the number of enemies that are dying outside of your spotlight. So that's awesome. Very good for your farming and very good for milestone runs, especially the more spotlight angle you have. Okay, and now we're going to get into the trade-off perks. So these purple perks, there is one each of these, and they all do something good and something that could be a negative depending on where you are in the game. And these are adjusted based on the lab, the perk trade-off lab. So your positive is going to get bigger and your negative is going to stay the same. So first up, we have increase in tower damage and bosses have more health. If you're glass cannon, this one's conditional. If it's bosses that are killing you, don't take this. They're just going to have more health. If you're dying to elites or being overwhelmed by chips, but your bosses are being taken care of, this is going to help you a lot. If you're running an EHP type build and you're killing your bosses with your thorns, take this one every time. That extra damage is going to help you a lot. Very, very, very good. Now, your coin trade-off perk almost doubles your coins at max level, but your max health is decreased by 70%. This one sounds scary. I did not take this perk for a long time because I thought it was gonna cut my runs short, which it does, and I wouldn't get as many coins in the long term. Not true, especially if you take it early. Doubling your coins for, it's not a massive difference in the length of your run, depending on your strategy. It's worth it to take it. If you don't believe me, give it a shot, but don't take it on just a single run because depending on when you get it in that run, it makes a difference. If you're at the very end of your run when it finally shows up, don't take it because you're going to get very little bonus and you're just going to die sooner. If you're early in the run, it's awesome. Okay, enemies have less health, but your tower health regen and lifesteal are significantly lower. 90% is a huge hurt if you are running EHP. The only time I would take this as an EHP build is if you are basically just relying on your defense percent and you're not relying on health regen or lifesteal. If you're relying on your packages and your package health, this could be beneficial because you're going to be able to kill enemies faster and it's not really going to hurt you that much. If you're relying on your wall and your health regen, this is going to hurt you every time. Don't take it. Horrible idea. If you're playing glass cannon, you don't care about damage, you don't care about getting hurt, take it every time. And then we have our 50/50 perk. Reduces damage by 55% at max level, and you do 50% less damage. If you're playing glass cannon, you already know you don't want to take this one. If you're not playing glass cannon, you're going to want to take this in general. I personally, and depending on where you are, will decide on when you're going to take it. I take it at the very end of my run because I run an orbless strategy up to the very end, and when I can't kill stuff fast enough anymore, I add in my orbs, and then I will, after a short time, I'll take the 50/50 perk, simply because I'm relying on my orbs to kill everything. I'll take a little bit less damage. So that does kind of extend the run a little bit in those situations. If you are early on in your EHP, or turtling, or whatever you want to do, or your Devo, unless you're doing orbless, it's worth taking. Okay, so talking about this, ranged enemies attack distance reduced, but ranged enemies do 3 times the damage. So where I'm at in the game, this perk is a real throwaway for me. It doesn't really affect me at all. I've got enough attack speed to keep them away if I need to, and I have a permanent black hole in my farming runs, so ranged enemies don't bother me at all because of the black hole lab that disables ranged enemies that are within the black hole. So that's not a problem for me at all. That one's a complete throwaway. At early game, because you don't have the kind of crowd control, that one probably is dangerous. I honestly don't know for sure what the experience would be like that because I don't think I ever took that at that point. So early game, that one's probably pretty dangerous for you. Mid to late game, I think it's a throwaway perk. I think it doesn't matter at all, which is why I don't have it banned. And I don't actually know what the range reduction is. I'm sure somebody's done the math on it and found it in the coding in the Discord. I don't know right offhand what it is. If I find out, I'll throw it in the comments below and pin that. And then we have our enemy speed reduction, but the enemies do twice as much damage. As an EHP build or earlier, don't take this. It's just going to hurt you. It is. At that point, you're going to be dying to bosses or rays or something like that. not to stuff flying in too fast. It's going to be the damage that kills you. So if you're glass cannon, in general, you're going to want to take it because you don't care about the damage, and being able to have more time to kill them, always a good thing. 13 times the cash per wave. Sounds awesome, even though that's not a very big number. But enemy kills don't give cash. This is a complete and total waste unless you've already maxed out everything you care about cash for and you just need to get rid of it. You need to take it versus something else. Early in a run, unless you're solely relying on free ups, I would never take this. End of the run, sure, go for it. Tower health regen times 8.8 at max level, but tower max health is reduced by 60%. So this one's situational. If you've spent some time and effort into your health regen labs and perks and whatnot, this one's going to help you. Multiplying your regen by almost 9 times for 60% less health is going to be really helpful if you're doing a wall build. Your wall has a lab that lets you have higher than your normal regen on your wall regen. So it's very good. Or if you're using Wormhole Redirector, which uses your tower health regen to max out your package health. So in that case, it can be really good. It does lower what damage is going to kill you in one shot, but at the same time, it's going to allow you to take a whole lot more hits because you can recover from them a lot faster. It's a big deal. This one compounded with your health regen multiplier is very powerful for any kind of wall devo strategy. Really, really good. Or if you're using Wormhole Redirector, both situations, it's very good for an EHP build. Highly recommend that. It's not that hard to get trillions of health regen on your wall, especially once you get your multiplier up on that. I've seen players that have had it up to a small Q on their regen, which is nuts, but it can be done. Boss health reduction, but speed increase. Health reduction is awesome. Speed increase, not so much. If you are relying on thorns to kill bosses at the end, take it. It's a throwaway perk. It's not going to really affect you one way or the other. You're still going to die to bosses eventually, most likely, and you're not really going to be killing them any faster because of the health reduction. So, really doesn't help you much. For a glass cannon, I'm not at the level where I've really been able to see that this is beneficial for glass cannon. I've heard that it can be. Personally, I don't think that it is where I'm at. Your mileage may vary, but if you're EHP, this one's not going to affect you one way or the other. And then your lifesteal increased, but knockback force decreased. This perk is conditional. If you have 100% uptime on your black hole, this is great because you don't care about knockback force. With my current farming runs, I rely on my black hole to control everything. Knockback force is useless to me. Honestly though, lifesteal is not really beneficial anyways because it only affects your base health. So since most of your EHP builds are going to be relying on your package health or your wall health, and this does not affect those at all, it's kind of a useless perk. Kind of a throwaway. Okay, now your first perk. Once you unlock this in the lab, you can select one of your blue perks to be your first perk. 99.999, well, a lot of the time, perk wave requirement reduction needs to be your first perk. The only time I would take something other than this is if you are specifically doing an event mission where you need to do kills with an ultimate weapon you don't have. There's a little bit of a cheese with that. Unlock a random ultimate weapon here, get through it as fast as you can, use your intro sprint if you need to, if you have it unlocked. Get that perk. If you don't get the ultimate weapon you need, just restart the run and keep doing that until you get the one you need, and then let it run with that ultimate weapon doing as many of the kills as you can. Little cheese there. One other situation that does come up occasionally for me personally, if you're doing a milestone run and you're really early on, you just need that little bit more of an edge, but you're not making it to the point where you can get that second perk, throw on your plus damage perk. That could help you, but really only in a milestone run. that you're in the early phases of. If you're going beyond your first couple of hundred waves, maybe past about wave 400 or 500, it's not going to help you at all take your perk wave requirement. If you can get all 3 of those in your first 3 perks, that's awesome, and that's going to help you more long term. You know, in general, always take your perk wave requirement first. It is the best perk. And then our auto perk. I have actually not touched this in a while, so it's kind of out of order. Basically, all this does, it lets you adjust what order priority there is. So if the perk at the top is in the pool, it's going to take that one first. If it's not, it's going to go to the second one, and so on and so forth as you go down. I personally don't really use auto pick, so it really doesn't help me very much. The only time I really use it is if I'm doing an overnight run that I'm starting right before I'm going to bed. I'll throw auto pick on, but I very rarely use it, and I don't have enough set into it for it to really help me. Eventually, if I put a few more levels in this, I'm going to leave it on all the time. But as a whole, it's yeah. I don't like it because it takes stuff that I don't want to take. So I don't use it really at all. So now for a few considerations for taking your perks. A few little tips and tricks. Like I said, you always want your first perk to be your perk wave requirement. After that, I highly recommend you still always take your perk wave requirement over any other perk. That's your first perk. If you're doing a milestone run and there's something specific that you need at that point and you're not gonna get far enough to get another perk, then take something else. But if you're doing farming, if perk wave requirement is there, take that first. It will only help you. After you take your perk wave requirement perks, if you don't have another one to take for that round, you're gonna wanna take your coin trade-off perk. That's gonna be your next pick, because the earlier you get this one, the more benefit you're going to get out of it, because it does cut your run a little bit shorter. So if you want double the coins for the whole run, take that one as soon as you can. But again, don't take it over your perk wave requirement. I've made that mistake. Don't do it. It's going to hurt you. There have been times where I've done that, not thinking about it, and been like, oh, more coins, let's do it. And then I get 2, 3, I've gotten as high as almost 5,000 waves into a run without getting my second perk wave requirement. And that hurts a lot. After that, unless there's a perk wave requirement, until you get all 3 perk wave requirements, always take a purple or green perk, or increase max game speed, or unlock ultimate weapon. The reason for that is each time you take one of those perks that only shows up one time, you're reducing the number of perks in the pool, which makes it more likely that you'll get your next perk wave requirement. Once you get all 3 of your perk wave requirements, I generally think of my priority as being my economy ones first, so your coin trade-off perk, or your golden tower perk, or your black hole duration perk. Those are the 3 priorities for me. After that, it's up to you. Take what helps you the most in your run. If you need more damage to keep your death wave up longer, go with the damage perk. In general, though, I think taking your 3 econ perks is your best thing. That's your best bang for your buck early on, especially the coin trade-off perk. Once you have all of your perk wave requirements and your important green and purple perks, after that, your mileage may vary. Take what helps you the most. My next pick is always going to be your increase in coin bonuses. You get all 5 of these and your other ones, that's going to be a huge increase in your coins. Very worth it. I do like to early on take the cash bonuses so that I can put it towards my enemy level skips. They're very beneficial. Beyond that, I kind of just take things as they come. I like getting my defense percent early. That can help a good bit early on or in that middle portion of my runs. Landmine damage is kind of a throwaway for me because I don't use landmines until the end. If you use landmines or landmine stun in your run, that's going to be helpful for you. If I don't have any of the perks that I want, I'll take bounce shot or defense absolute or interest. Because they don't affect me at all, I'll take those 2 or those 3 over one of the trade-off perks that I don't want. Because it always stinks to take this early on and then I just can't run the orbless portion of my run as far. just the way it is. I take this one pretty early too, because that helps extend that early portion of my run a lot. And that's really where this perk shines the most. At the end of the run, you're gonna die when you get one shot regardless. But earlier on in the run, you're gonna be able to take a lot more little hits at one time. Because one little hit doesn't matter. A ton of little hits, they matter. And this will combat that tremendously. Being able to regen, trillions at a time is very helpful. For my personal runs, I don't take free up chance at all unless I'm running an overnight run and I'm starting it right before going to bed. Then I'll leave it in for my auto perk. And I don't take the orb plus because I do orbless and it's just gonna hurt me. Even after the orbless portion of my run, I only started taking this once I got the orb slider from the vault. Without that, your orbs are way too far out for an orb for a devoed run. So it's just gonna kill stuff outside of where you want it to. I just use the extra orbs. That's a whole different video though. We'll talk about that another time. Beyond that, just take your perks how you want to and what you need at the time. In general, I think damage is a good one to take early, unless if you're relying on your orbs for all of your damage, then it's not really going to help you that much early on. You're going to get more benefit out of your health and health regen. It's going to help you last longer. Bans. These are the ones I ban normally for my farming runs. I could get away with unbanning these because I select them. I'm selective with my perks, but I don't want to be stuck with all three of these and the 50/50 perk all at the same time. So for now, I leave them there. If they don't really hurt you, depending on where you are, something that can be very beneficial for a lot of people with their perks is to ban multiple of the blue perks that you get a lot. So you could ban Defense Absolute, Landmine Damage, Interest, and if you're Glass Cannon, your Health Regen or something. That's going to take a lot of stuff out of the pool and can be really helpful for you. A lot of the more advanced players that are going to be needing that probably already know this, but if you don't, that's a really good trick to have up your sleeve. If you've got enough ban slots, I need more. I only have 4. I would like to double that. It just takes a lot of time and I haven't wanted to put it into it. Banning the ones that don't affect your run at all, like Interest or Defense Absolute, is going to make your pool a lot smaller and help you get the perks you want a lot sooner. Well, that's it for the perks for me, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time.